All right. What's up, everybody? Hey, CK. How we doing? Welcome to the stream. Hello, hello. Alrighty, guys. Make yourself known when you come into the stream here. Great to have you all back. Great to be back for the first stream of 2022. You know, we caught up with the funded traders yesterday for a pretty good session. Talked a lot about goal setting, about the right way to do goal setting. Talked a lot about, you know, the year to come. So yeah, looking forward to have you all here on the first stream of 2022. Just me today, no Asger. Hey Maddie, hey Björn, how we doing? So yeah, as usual, if you're new, if you're new to the stream, say hello. Let me know if there's any trades you've got that you'll want to have a look at. If you've got any questions about Breakfree Trading in general, questions about the strategy, questions about, whatever it might be, let me know, throw it in the chat. If you've been around for a while, you know how this works. Ask whatever questions you've got and I'll get to them. Okay, ask any questions you might have. We're in a very interesting time right now in markets, a very interesting time. We do have some selling pressure on, obviously, the crypto market in general. Probably like the biggest, story of the start of 2022. It's been the crypto market selling off in general. We've got this sell-off on BTC of, to the lows, 43% roughly on BTC to the lows. And we've got plenty of altcoins that have sold off, 70, 80, some even 90% and things like that. Have we seen this before? We absolutely have seen this before. If you remember back to, this time back in kind of May, April, May, we had about a 56% sell-off in BTC, which, coincided with a sell-off on the rest of the crypto market as well. So it's not like we haven't seen this before. It's just that we've got to be very mindful of, what is the entire market thinking right now? At a time like this, it's very strange to be incredibly bullish, and we're seeing a lot of, people speaking in very bullish ways, posting in very bullish ways, on Twitter, being incredibly bullish about crypto. And really, we're in a pretty solid downtrend right now. We're in a very solid downtrend. So, the market likes to cause maximum pain. If there's one thing you remember, from this stream, it's that the market in 90% of the cases will cause maximum pain. It's going to stop out the most people it possibly can stop out. It's going to liquidate the most people possible before it does, what they expected it to do, basically. It's going to take the path of maximum pain. This is just what the market does, all markets. So, yeah. Hey, Nico. Hey, Martin. Pound US dollar went into deep drawdown. I'll set it to break even. GBP USD. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, if you want to set this to break even, for sure, obviously this was the entry level right here. Very good chance we get back up to this entry level. Still a strong looking RTD, which is a really good sign for this market. It was very reasonable. If you remember back to the, Björn, to the weekly market review that I did when I mentioned this, and I said, we've had this like move that's basically just been up and no pullbacks really, right? No pullbacks at all. So it was kind of reasonable to see a pullback back into this level here where we had this previous structure and it had been tested before. So that's kind of where we're moving back to right now, this level right here. So, that was, on the cards, and that's kind of exactly what it did. And now we're looking for that bounce back up to the entry point. So, at this stage, it's up to you whether you want to get out at break even or hold on to it and let it play out as per the original setup. But, I think it was pretty reasonable to see that pullback into that level there, given where the market had moved back to previous times in here before. See here and here through there. Okay. So, yeah. Hello, Steve. You killed Asger. No, I didn't kill Asger. Hello, Rian. How you doing? ETH/USDT 1 hour short for Maddie. Okay, cool, cool. ETH/USDT. You know, I was talking about crypto just now. Being very bearish right now. Let's take a look. 1 hour time frame. Yeah, if you're shorting from this level right here, you know, that looks pretty reasonable. I'm guessing there was probably a Sonar trade here, perhaps, for this market. One day, 4 hour. Maybe not. Maybe it's an X mode trade. Let me know if it's an X mode trade or if it's a Sonar trade. But yeah, ETH/USDT is short from that level right there. Let's wait to see how this candle closes if you're not in already. If you're already in this, all good. Then, yeah, if not, wait for this candle to close. Make sure you're setting limit orders. But yeah, it looks like a pretty reasonable entry level for sure. You can see how bearish it has been, you know, through that level previously before. You know, we've had respect of that level here in the past plenty of times. Over here as well, you can see we've respected that level in the past. And we're in a pretty solid downtrend. So if we do see any selling in crypto whatsoever, very good chance we do dump down there for sure. Pound USD, yeah, I prefer to set to break even and take another retest. Awesome. Yep, for sure, Burn. That's a great idea. Set it to break even and then take a retest when it comes. Definitely, definitely. Alrighty, guys. What else are we looking at here? What else are we looking at? It was X mode. Oh, okay, yeah, X mode, cool. Something like this, I'm guessing? Something like that. Up above this. Stop loss above that. TP3 or TP2 down here at that previous low. Very reasonable TP1. Awesome. Love it. Well set up, Matt. Well set up, mate. Good work. Looks good. Looks very good. Alrighty, guys. What else are we looking at here? What else are we looking at? Remember, you know, remember to start the year, right? Make sure you're always going back to your fundamentals. Always going back to, you know, those things that you fall back on, the basics, right? The basics. That's what trading's all about. Just continually doing the basics very, very, very well. All right, making sure you're finding great entries, making sure you're placing limit orders, making sure you're scaling in, making sure that you're setting reasonable TPs, making sure that you're setting reasonable stop losses, making sure that you're managing your risk appropriately, making sure that, you know, you're not over leveraging, not oversizing. All of these fundamental things are incredibly important to start now as you move into the start of 2022 so that you continue to implement those as you move forward throughout the year, right? So we talked about this last night in the funding session, you know, doing small incremental things that shift the odds in your favor, doing just small things that are going to shift the odds in your favor to make you more successful, right? You're not about doing all of it at once, not about becoming the best trader on the planet all at once. It's about doing small things that shift the odds in your favor over and over and over again, because at the end of the day, you don't control the market. You don't control what the market does next. Okay, all you can control is the things that you do and the amount of times that you can execute appropriately and execute around your trading plan. Okay, every single time you execute around your trading plan, it's another win. Regardless of whether you hit stop loss or you hit TP, it's another win as long as you execute on your trading plan. All right, let's take a look. This is reacting quite well to the level, Matt. It's reacting very well to the level. I've got log chart on, but that doesn't matter. It's reacting very well to the level. Let's take a look at S&P 500. As you all know, this is a market that I love to take a look at, love to trade around. We didn't quite make it down here to our support level, right? Maybe if you were scaling in, you might have caught one entry perhaps down here. We didn't quite make it to the support level though. And we're in kind of a sideways market right now. We're at that point where it's like the local is crossed through the global because we've had this like very sudden short-term selling pressure, and then this here as well, right, that has really kind of like overridden the long-term macro trend. So we've now got the local kind of crossing through here. And it's at that point where it's like, okay, we're now in a sideways market. We're not really in a bullish market anymore. And if you look on the 1 hour time frame, you can kind of see here, like if you just draw a box all around that, like that is not a clearly defined trend. And that's basically exactly what the RTD is telling you right now. It's not a clearly defined trend. You can see we had this warning signal back here when the RTD already crossed through once before, and then now it's moving through a second time. And we've continually tested the bottom of the global RTD just over and over and over again in this market. So it's kind of at the point where, you know, it's very similar to what we were looking at back here in September, right? Back in September here of 2021, if you zoom in on this right here, you know, overall, just as the structure of this price action, it's again, very, very similar. You know, we just have really choppy sideways kind of market that's just chopping back and forth. In this type of market, it's kind of the point where you say, you know what, I don't really want to do anything right now. This level did bounce. You know, we did have a bounce at the support level. It happened a bit above the support level, unfortunately. So, you know, if you were long at that level, you know, if this is where you were trying to get into a position here on S&P 500, then maybe you didn't quite catch an entry. But we did see a bounce there at that level. You know, X mode levels are really great. If it's going to bounce, it's probably going to bounce there. But at the end of the day, it's a sideways market. What we could do is we could rip straight through that again. We could rip up here and then rip back down again and then move through, and we could, you know, come into the extensions here and then bounce again, and we could just continue to have this sideways choppy price action until there's some sort of, you know, major catalyst from a fundamental perspective that changes the market. And it's like, we don't know when that catalyst is going to come. We don't know what that catalyst is going to be, so we don't worry about that. You know, we don't worry about the news. We don't worry about these things because we don't know what they're going to be. All we can do is we can look at the chart and see how the market's reacting to these fundamental things that are basically released, right? Because we can't predict what effect it's going to have on the market. All we can do is react to how the market responds to various things happening around the globe, okay? And that's why we care about technicals. That's why we care about price action, because the price is the only real truth, all right? You can go and make a guess on what's going to happen based on, you know, CPI numbers or whatever, but the real truth is what the price does, okay? US 2000 1 hour short. I know you're not a fan of shorting indices, but the PA structure and trend I like was a Sonar. Let's take a look. US 2000 1 day, 1 hour. Right, it's around the bottom of this. So we broke out of this rangy price action right here. We broke out of that. We've had a close on the daily above it. Let's check the 4 hour. We've had a close, multiple closes below it on the 4 hour, and this nice little wick here, right? This nice selling pressure when we quickly tested that level right there. Immediately we had selling pressure straight out of that level. And then let's check the 1 hour time frame. Okay. Yeah, it's very reasonable. Again, look at this price action right there when we tested it previously. A big bearish candle. Like, the bears really wanted to sell at this level right here. 21.25, another nice round number. I mean, not a round number, but, you know, it's a key psychological level. 21.25, right? It's not just kind of like a random 2109 or anything like this. It is a nice psychological level here in the market. We've had some nice price action around there before. You can see how bearish we pushed through this before that quick retest and continuation onto the downside. let's see what happens here, how we come into it. What I am mindful of is, see this like V shape here, this V shape price action back into the level. What I don't want to see is see a continual march up like this. I kind of just want to see one quick wick into it and then a wick back out of it again. I don't want to see this market continue to gain strength by like small little candle moves up into that level, because that's where we could explode then to the upside and take our stop loss and be back up here somewhere, you know? So yeah, just be mindful of that one there. Just that we are seeing, you know, a very V looking kind of recovery, and we don't want to see a little march to the upside of little tiny candles marching up like that. What we want to see is something like this here. See, we had this V right there. We had this V, and then we had the move to the upside, right? And then we had this one candle right here, one bigger candle than everything else around it, that punched straight into the top of this range here, or what became the range basically, and then punched straight back out again. Hey Sanya, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. All right. Okay, yeah, US 2000 does look, you know, quite bearish right now. And if we continue to see this type of selling on the S&P 500, it's very likely that we see pretty heavy selling on the US 2000 as well. You know, if the S&P 500 has a little bounce here, we have a little bounce here on the S&P 500, you know, and what's nice as well is that you can see this level here that really does coincide very nicely with that level right there. You know, if the S&P 500 reacts to that area of resistance right there and then continues on to the downside, punches in here and then continues on down, we'll very likely see almost the identical price action right here on the US 2000, right? And the US 2000 is going to respond in a much more volatile fashion than the S&P 500, because the US 2000 is the small cap index of the United States. So if you've got the big companies, the big 500 moving in a certain way, the small 2000 are going to move in a very similar way, but with more volatility typically. Let's take a look at what... Hey Sam, how you doing, mate? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. Let's take a look and see what Sonar trades we've got available. AU 200 here. Yeah, that's still in a weak uptrend, but we're like right on the verge of this local fully engulfing the global trend. And you can see once more, you know, look how choppy this is. Look, when you zoom out, you can see just how choppy the Aussie 200 here is at the moment. You know, this is the top 200 companies in Australia. Very, very choppy. And again, if we continue to see selling pressure on the S&P 500, very likely that we continue to see selling pressure on the Australian 200 as well. Do I have any filters on? No. All right. So we've got wheat, we've got XAG Euro. Singapore 30 looking, got a bearish setup as well. Japanese 225 with the bearish setup. S&P 500 with the bearish setup. USD Japanese yen with a little bullish setup right here. Okay, that's very interesting. I like this reaction out of this level previously. You know, look at how we dumped hard into this level before, and then we reacted straight away out of that level, right? That's really good signs that this market, you know, maintained that range. But would I go for it again, though? That's the question. Would I go for it again? We had it play out once already. And you can see the way it played out once already, where it tested, the local tested the bottom of the global here, right? And then it respected it, and then it moved back to the upside. And this range here was actually maintained by the bulls. But if we come back into it again, could it play out again? Yeah, it could play out again. Would I love to take it again, you know, after it's already just played out, you know, not too long ago? Maybe not. It all depends on the question. Can I find better exposure to the US dollar and the Japanese yen? If that answer is no, then sure, take this trade. If that answer is yes, and there's somewhere else that I can take better US dollar or Japanese yen exposure, fantastic. We'll go look for it there. More bearish setups on crypto here. So I believe this Ripple setup was... This showed up a little while ago, I think, as well. And it was the same trade, basically. So it's already played out once before. But again, if we continue to see bearishness on BTC, if we continue to see, broader bearishness across crypto and across the S&P 500 and across risk markets in general, very, very likely, very likely that we see weakness on XRP as well. I'm great. Thanks for asking. Took some TPs on ETH today, so shorting ETH. Do you have any trades open at the moment? I don't have any trades open at the moment. No. I've been just like watching what S&P 500 has been doing. As you guys know, that's pretty much like the market that I like to trade the most. So I've been keeping my eye on that. I've been keeping my eye on BTC as well. I just have no conviction in shorting BTC though. Like, I just know that it can just teleport to the upside at really any moment, just like it basically did in May, like I mentioned before. So, while it looks incredibly bearish, it's like I just don't have any conviction in shorting it. So I've just been keeping my eye on S&P 500, and it's just kind of looked like since that neutral level failed on SPX that I mentioned in the weekly market review a while ago, since this level here failed, I've kind of just been like, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. And we missed this level here, and now we're kind of in a sideways market. So I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens here, whether we go lower and whether the Fed really does commit to this, idea of raising interest rates, and they really commit to that, and the market responds to that in a really negative way. Because if interest rates go up, the market will respond to that in a very, very negative way, right? So I'm just waiting to see what happens there, and if we start kind of a longer term downtrend here, or whether the Fed kind of just backflips on it, some new stimulus bill or something like that happens. There's like a new, there's more fiscal policy or something like this that, I think there's like an infrastructure bill for like $3 trillion or something like that that's on the table. So, if that passes, then we'll probably have a massive pump here, and then I'll look for a long position from that level again at 46.87.5. So yeah, that's basically what I'm kind of doing right now, and then just keeping my eye on my long-term positions, my investment positions. So I always have positions open, but it's whether they're long-term positions or they're trades. Yeah. Hi Tom and BFT family. Hello Eric. How we doing? Great to have you back, mate. Great to be back. Great to see you here in the stream. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen looks pretty reasonable, actually. Weak downtrend here. It's a weak downtrend, but we kind of had this like fake out kind of thing on the RTD, right? This pretty heavy pump in here, back below. Very bearish candle to move back through the level, right? Really bearish candle. Had a test already after this bearish candle, and then took a TP1 right here. So there's TP1 already taken here on New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Okay. As much as I hate to say it, I actually think this looks pretty reasonable. As much as I hate to say Dogecoin BTC looks like a decent trade, Dogecoin BTC looks like a decent trade. Yes, stopping QE, reducing QE to 0 by the end of Q2. That's what I've heard, yeah. So that'll be, QE has basically been a thing since the global financial crisis. It's really never stopped. So it's a very big deal. It's a very, very big deal. And I'm very interested to see how the Fed reacts to the market absolutely dumping. Because you got to remember, you know, CPI is very high right now. And the real mandate of the Fed is to control inflation. The real mandate of almost every central bank in the world is to control inflation. So when inflation is too high, they have to intervene in some way. So yeah, this is what I've heard is happening. Yeah. Be very interested to see how the market reacts to it. Now, what we've got here is we have obviously a local bottom here. We have a stop loss below that. Fantastic. We've got a market that's kind of operating a fair way above, you know, our support level right now. So what are we always looking for on these kind of extension trades? These are the mean reversion trades, right? So, you know, if we had kind of a mean of this market, basically it's moving up like that. And we've got deviations away from the mean. We had a significant deviation away from the mean here, which then reverted back to the mean. Now, what we're looking for is a compensation just as hard to the downside to then revert back to the mean again, okay? So this is that mean reversion type trade here. So what we want to see is a very swift, you know, deviation away from this overall mean. Take all of our entries, bounce off extension 2, come back through and move back in line with this overall mean of this market here, right? Take our TP3 here. That is the general idea of most of these of the extension trade, right? We've got a very nice stop loss, like I mentioned before. Very nice stop loss. You can see here, this market has kind of really formed a bit of a bottomy looking structure here above the stop loss. So that's very nice. And it's very likely that we could bounce off this previous structure here once we get in there, a quick bounce up there, right? So as much as I hate to say it, Doge BTC actually looks a little bit bullish. Uber is pulling back, but still in an uptrend. Well, so, you know, we're moving into a sideways market on the S&P 500 here, right? So that means that a lot of stocks are going to be moving into a sideways market as well. So if you trade stocks, then you got to be very mindful that the S&P 500 is really going to lead the rest of the stock market. It's going to lead, you know, the general direction of most stocks that you're trading. It's really going to lead the general direction of almost all risk on assets at the end of the day. You know, let's take a look at what the bond market is doing actually. So 30-year bonds, we want the US 30 years. You know, we've seen a heavy bleeding here in bonds in general. It's very interesting to see 30-year bonds selling off like this at the same time as we're seeing S&P 500 pull back as well. So that's really very interesting, especially given that bonds are, you know, your typical flight to safety type asset for basically the entire financial services industry. Bonds is like that flight to safety asset, and I'll show you here. Let's look at the 1-day time frame. You can see here this massive rally in bonds. This is right around the COVID, right? So this is all the money flowing out. This is money flowing out of the risk on assets into risk off assets, and bonds being the major outlet for those flows, right? So you can see here this massive, you know, big rally in bonds in the 30-year bond when we saw the COVID dump happening in the S&P 500. It's very interesting. We're right around those levels once more. Right around those levels yet again. So if we see bonds rally here, then that usually means that, you know, our risk on assets, S&P 500, all that type of stuff, are selling off pretty heavily. Alrighty, guys. What are we looking at right now? I'm seeing a ton of stocks. Aussie dollar, Singapore dollar looks pretty choppy around the level in general to me. I don't really love that. Let's look at this. This looks like it's in a little uptrend here. Yeah. It is. Barclays. Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank around that level right there, you can see this is a very nice level in this market. You can see how it was respected back here as basically a local high. Big rally through here. Big rally in recent times, basically to end and start the year. We had a very big rally in Barclays. And now, you know, if we do get a pullback into this level here, this is the exact type of thing that's like you want to be buying. If you are a bull, if like your general thesis is bullish, if you're not much of a contrarian, because, you know, if you're shorting markets, typically you're a bit of a contrarian. You know, you don't, you know, most people buy, right? So if you're shorting, then that usually means you're a bit of a contrarian trader, a bit of a contrarian investor. Personally, I much prefer buying. You know, I much prefer buying uptrends than I do shorting downtrends. So if this is the type of person you are, then this is the type of asset that you would be looking to buy right now. You'd be looking to get in here on Barclays when the S&P 500 is basically dumping, right? When the S&P 500 is doing this, you want to be placing limit orders on these the things that are showing unusual strength relative to the rest of the market, right? This is the type of thing you want to be finding. So as the S&P 500 continues to dump, if it does continue to dump, Barclays might find a little bit more weakness to punch you straight into your entry here. And then if you see any sort of momentary bounce in the S&P 500, you saw all this money flowing into Barclays while the S&P 500 was dumping. So as soon as money moves back into risk on assets, then, you know, you've got a very good chance of having a very nice bounce here in this type of market. All right, so this is the type of thing you want to be looking for. This type of Barclays long trade. If you are you know, a buy side type investor, if you prefer to be on the buy side, that's what you want to be looking for. And it's really good to, you know, to be able to just immediately see that and go, oh, Barclays, that's an equity. Oh, it must be in an uptrend. I see it is in an uptrend, a strong uptrend. Okay, cool. Well, maybe I can allocate capital to this if we do see a bit more of a pullback. You know, I don't want to buy it up here, obviously, because this is, you know, this is basically like an all-time high on this thing. So I don't want to be buying the all-time high in this market. What I want to be doing is I want to be buying the pullback. And remember, $200 is going to be a really key point for a lot of people. In their mind, they're going to be thinking about $200, just like they were thinking about $200 right there, right? You know, these round numbers have a very meaningful to people. It was meaningful back here. There's no reason why it wouldn't be meaningful here. Just like 50K is very meaningful to Bitcoin, for Bitcoin people, right? For crypto people in general. GE, we've got a low uptrend. So, you know, if I was looking for equities exposure, again, it's like, where can I allocate capital that's going to give me exposure to, you know, the strongest horse in the race? Where can I back the strongest horse in the race? And in this case, you know, it's Barclays right now, is what we've realized. Is this Activision Blizzard? Because I know that Activision Blizzard just got acquired by Microsoft for like $85 a share or something like this, maybe $85 a share. So I don't think Activision Blizzard, is Activision Blizzard still trading right now? I don't know that they are, because they were just acquired by Microsoft. So that's what this big old gap here is. That's Activision Blizzard getting acquired by Microsoft for $85 per share. .BTC. So we've got Polkadot BTC here. Again, sideways market. You can see this choppiness here in the market. But, you know, it has been pretty reasonable. You know, the bottom of this range has stood up. The more, as you guys all know, the more that a range is tested, the more likely it is that it eventually breaks, and we could go down and see, you know, some sort of test down there somewhere. So, you know, be very, very mindful of that. Strong uptrend here on VOD. Vodafone Group, okay. Vodafone Group. This is a nice looking move, right? You can see this bottoming type area here. Look at this price action. Have a look at this price action here. You've seen this price action before if you've been watching charts. Look at how it's like a parabolic. It's kind of like this parabolic move to the upside. It's kind of like it works its way up, 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 and then it explodes to the upside, right? And this is that, you know, it's like building up by slowly moving up, slowly moving up, slowly moving up, and then it has the parabolic move to the upside, right? And again, you don't want to be buying up here because you can have a blow off top on this parabolic move. But if you come back down and you retest this area down here where the parabolic move first started, where it had that build up, that's a great time to be buying that type of thing. The problem that most people have is they're breakout buyers, right? They start buying breakouts and they start, you know, identifying these levels right here, and they go, you know what, like, oh, it broke this previous high, so it's gonna, you know, keep going higher. It's a breakout trade. Oh, it broke this level here, right? So it's gonna keep going higher, and they get caught on the wrong side of the market for it then to basically dump back down on them, back into a support, and then start working its way back up again. Yes, it's Activision. Yeah. This is in a bit of drawdown. Pound CAD. Looks like the pound trades all in a little bit of drawdown right now. We've got a sideways market here. You can see RTD has changed to sideways. So if you're not already setting to break even here, great opportunity to set up break even on this trade. Start managing this position. But it looks like it actually spawned when it was below the level already. I'm not sure. It looks like it spawned when on this candle here, which was actually already below the level, that candle right there. So, you know, none of you should be in that because we're placing limit orders here, right? The same as Chainlink BTC. It looks like it's spawning actually below the level right now. EOS BTC, really respected that very, very well. You know, this is really, I like to just go through and just look at the price action on these markets. Look at the way that they're kind of forming up right now. Look at the way that these markets, what these markets are showing you, kind of thing. You know, and why these trades are failing. You know, sometimes you're going to find a really reasonable answer for why these trades are failing. Other times you're not going to find a reasonable answer. Sometimes you're just going to say, okay, the volatility was just a little bit too much. Maybe my stop loss could have been deeper. Maybe my stop loss could have been below that previous low there. Maybe it could have been even below this level right here, you know, being protected by an X mode level. Maybe instead of targeting, you know, there, I could have targeted something a little bit different here. And you can start thinking about, well, let's say I was targeting that right there. Let's say that was my trade. Right? I target this previous high up here. I still have a pretty reasonable entry. But again, you know, it was really crossed over for a very short period of time being in an uptrend here. Really, it was a bleeding market that kind of just deviated very far away from the mean and then just punched us into the top of our range. And the top of the range got respected perfectly. The top of the range was respected almost to the pip, and then it got dumped back out again. Really, you know, if you look at this, you know, if you just look at this like completely objectively, as a 12-year-old would look at this market, you immediately go, this is going down. This market is going down, right? And this is just a deviation. This is a very strange deviation, and it's like, really? You probably could have been shorting this deviation away from this massive bleed in Euro USD to the downside. So start thinking about these type of things. These is what is gonna make you a much better trader, right? Thinking about this type of thing and not just blindly placing orders on these things, but zooming out a little bit, having a look and be like, wait a minute, you know, as great as RTD is, I don't agree that that's an uptrend. I think that's an absolute downtrend, right? And make that decision. Make that decision. Still in 1 day short from 7th of the 12th, 2021 on BCH USDT. From 7th of the 12th. Where was the entry? Oh, here. Is this where you entered? Something like that there. That's your trade, Matt. NZDIC had 4 hour just showed up on Sonar. Awesome setup. I'll take a look. Matty, is that your trade? I'm guessing something like this here. You absolutely sniped that entry if that's the case. Look at this. Sniped that entry for sure. You know, you if that's your trade. Took first 2 TPs, third is the hardest. Awesome. Yeah, right. Just like that. Great stuff. Well, this is just Matt the sniper just came in and went bang. You're going down, son. Very good. Very well done. Great entry for sure. Great trade. Great trade in general. You know, these levels are just great. Again, $500. Look at this. This is no coincidence. $500. Neutral level. The sniper entry at $500. $500 was such a key level in this market right here. Not only was it very likely to come back and retest $500, but it was very likely to get absolutely nuked off $500 as well. So, you know, $500, really key level in this market. And it's no coincidence that you were able to absolutely snipe an entry there at $500. NZD CAD, let's take a look. Absolutely looks like it's a bleeding to death market. This looks like it's absolutely bleeding to death right here. And, you know, look at this. Let's just like, you know, if you said, what's the mean of this market? If you just drew like a linear regression here on like where the market's kind of going, it's basically that, right? You know, that's kind of like, it's going down like this and it's kind of fluctuating around this mean line essentially, right? So what we're looking for is we're looking for that deviation away from the mean, just like what we saw over here, to then move back in line with that overall mean again. Okay, we're looking for this here, the sinusoidal wave around the linear regression. All right, that's basically exactly what we're doing right now. It's the deviation away from the overall trend, away from the mean of this market, punch it into some resistance and dump it. I agree completely, Ben. This is a lovely looking trade. And you can see, you know, look at these wicks. Look at how the market's reacted previously around that level. Look at those wicks right there at that level there, right? Look at how it's reacted. Look at this wick right here. Buyers were active there, okay? We got sellers active in here at this level. This level, you know, it was relatively meaningful to this market. You can see over here, you know, this is where we had that little bounce here in this market, okay? So you can see the price action around the level was pretty meaningful. So if we do have that, you know, reversion, the deviation away from the mean, we're looking for that reversion back down, very likely to happen. X mode, pinpoint, absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, Matty. Yeah, good call, Bjorn. Looks like a good one. Looks like a good one. You know, obviously we are mindful that it is, you know, multiple year lows as well. This would be a support level on the higher time frame that you would be shorting. So, you know, if that doesn't sit very well with you, then just bear that in mind. We have broken extension 1 though, which is good. You know, we've had a close below extension 1. You know, extension 1 could literally just throw us back into here and then dump us back out again. You know, extension 1 could be the buying pressure we need to get the punch back into that level right there. Or we could see a little consolidation here. We could see a little consolidation that then turns into a neutral, then we punch it onto the downside right there. So depending on, you know, your conviction in taking that type of trade will make the most difference in this market. Look at this around COVID, right? Look at this choppiness around COVID. Very interesting. You know, we're at these levels on a lot of markets. You know, we saw the bond market, right? Right at those levels that it was at pre-COVID. And we're at a very similar point in time right here again. Yet again, we're at a very similar point in time. And if you look at, let's just like take a quick look at this price action. I just noticed this price action right here. and this price action right here. Look at this, like, top, very similar area here, very similar area, right around the extension levels, around the top of that range. Deep bleed, a few rallies, but really a pretty heavy bleed to the downside. Pretty heavy bleed to the downside. Find some support here around these pre-COVID levels right there. For then a bit of a pop to the upside. Very interesting. You know, I love seeing this type of thing where it's like price action just repeating itself over and over and over again. And it just makes me go, you know what, like, that is very cool, and that means that I can go and, you know, see how price action just repeats itself and be able to master the way that price action repeats itself to then become, you know, a really great trader. Because you've got to remember that what is price action? Price action is basically a visualization of human psychology at the end of the day. It's much more about human psychology than it is about actual finance and financial principles or anything like this, right? You know, there's humans printing onto the chart these candlesticks. This is all human psychology. Look at this, like, da, 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 da. That just reminds you of like a person that doesn't know what the heck they're doing, right? This choppiness right here. That's a person that doesn't know what they're doing. That's what you can kind of think about it as, a very uncertain person. This is a person that knows exactly what they want to do. They want to dump this thing at any possible opportunity, right? So it's really interesting to think about these markets in the sense of human psychology rather than, well, you know, it's this financial instrument and it's all these things that I don't fully understand. Because at the end of the day, you being a human means that you understand human psychology better than anybody else, right? Alrighty, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? Any other questions for me? Chuck them in, and then if not, I'll sign off, and you guys can have a great day, and I'm going to get some sleep, and we will chat again very soon. So yeah, final questions, throw them in for me, and we'll take a look. If there's any trades you want to have a look at or anything like that, let me know, and we will take a look at those trades before I sign off. That played out really well. Tron BTC here. Really nice trade. Are you guys using the... Oh, another one. Cardano USDT. Another very nice one. You know, these extension trades are really great. These extension trades are really, really fantastic. Again, you know, you zoom out, you take a look. Okay, what does this look like? Well, 12-year-old tells me this is just absolutely dumping. And I can see here, there's like some spikes that just dump. Spike, dump, spike, dump. There's a general mean to this market, and it's down. And then we've got this significant deviation away from that mean for really no reason whatsoever, right? This market, Cardano, was rallying when BTC was completely dumping. And then it's like, why is that happening? There's nothing, you know, special about this market. There's nothing special going on right now. Why is that happening? Punches straight into the extension levels, straight into the extension of this range, and then just dumps straight back out again. Really, really perfect setup once more. EOS, BTC, again, same thing. Chainlink, no good, right? You're gonna have some great ones, you're gonna have some crappy ones. Again, check out Chainlink here, right? We had this big pump to the upside, right? Again, slow build up, big parabolic move. Expect the blow off top around here. Expect the blow off top when you get to the all-time highs, right? You're gonna have a blow off top like that, okay? Absolutely, you're gonna have a blow off top like that. When you see a big rally like that, expect a blow off top. When you see a big dump, like a vertical dump, expect a bounce somewhere, right? Expect a bounce. And it came in right here at this resistance level, right where that previous highs have been before there in the past. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much for joining me once more for a stream. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a fantastic week. It was really good being back here and streaming with you guys. Let's get these streams, with a lot more people involved, a lot more people into the streams here, so that, we can get questions answered and all this type of thing. We had a fantastic showing at our live stream yesterday for the funded traders. So, let's try to get the community around these streams as well, where we can support new members, we can support new people as they're coming into Breakfree Trading, just like you were supported when you first came into Breakfree Trading as well. All right, so alrighty guys, thank you so much once more. I appreciate you all, and I'm going to sign off now. Have a fantastic morning, day, or evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you all soon. Okay, sayonara.